I hate everything. This is why I don't schedule streams, because I'm not used to it. I scheduled a stream, so I thought if I pressed start streaming on OBS, that would be enough, which it normally is when I'm streaming. But here I am talking for like 40 to 50 minutes, and I didn't realize that when you schedule a stream, you still have to hit go live on YouTube. Fuck me! I talked about myself for like an hour and no one heard it. God damn. Wait, but OBS was streaming it longer than YouTube, and it showed it streaming on YouTube. But if it wasn't live, does all of that get cut out from the stream? Or did everything I say for the first 34 minutes that OBS was streaming, is that still kept? I'm assuming it gets kept. It's just that since I didn't go live until now, no one saw it up until now, so they would have to watch the VOD? I wish I knew how this stupid crap works. I bet no one's going to watch it now because they're going to be like, I thought it was going to start at 3, and it's 4, and he's only now going live. Because, fuck me, and I didn't notice that stupid button on the top right of the screen. This is only the second time, I think, ever, that I've ever scheduled a stream. Because I've always scheduled videos, but not streams, so I didn't realize that this hit the button to go live thing was a thing you had to do, because you normally don't have to, because if you go live on OBS, it makes it automatically go live on YouTube. It's like an automatic thing. But on scheduling, it doesn't work like that, apparently. Now I'm just kind of mad. I'm just kind of mad now, dude. I opened up, like I said, I opened up about myself for like 40, 50 minutes. And I wasn't even live during any of it. Why do I have to suck at life so much? Can't even stream correctly, ever. So I guess if you didn't hear anything I said earlier, just watch the VOD assuming it's still in there? Because like I said, I'm guessing the full stream is still being streamed. It's just that when you're not live, those parts are invisible to the viewers until it is live, when it is live. Otherwise, it's basically the same thing as waiting for a video to release. That probably would explain why I didn't have chat, because I feel like I would have chat if it was live. I would have had chat if it was live. I could guarantee it. I would have had at least one. Now this is an awkward spot. I hope someone shows up. I don't know if just chatting streams really work, if it's just you talking. I don't know if it really counts for anything. So, I would start asking questions, which is normally what I would have done by now. But since I screwed up and didn't even go live when I was supposed to, this is really awkward. And I already said a lot of things. I'm trying to think of what else I should be saying right now. Maybe I'll talk about those 5 characters again. Why not? Because I doubt a lot of people watched that old video of mine. Because those videos. I know exactly how Caddy feels now. Because he had this video where he was talking about his old content from like a decade ago, and he goes, yeah, a lot of YouTubers will look back at their old stuff and be like, ugh, God, was I really that bad? For me, I could look just a couple years back and I feel it. Even just last year's 2023 videos I made, like my Punch Out videos. Some of them were a little better than others, but like it's really cheesy in places. And then some of the other stuff I made later in the year is just cringe. Cringe central. It's like, damn. I kind of like the Dragon Ball one. That one was alright. And Character Delete was alright too, but the fucking, the Gex tier list. Ugh, what was that? Like I said, I mentioned earlier, and before I went live, there were these characters I designed back in the day, and it bothered me so much that I never got to use them in anything, because I wrote a little story with them in high school, but I wanted to add them to something, but for many years they were in limbo. And so I started making this RPG with them, which will take a long time to come out, which I've already said before. Yeah. So, I still want to find a way to use these characters. I'm hoping that someday the cast of characters, which back in the old days I called it the X Squad, but now it's known as OGH, the OGH universe. Um, well, in my head it is. There, no one else knows about it because aside from my very close friends that I've told about my project, it's kind of just like, yep, there are these games I'm making, and they're gonna finally use these old ass characters I conceived back in like 2015. Um, because I have a close attachment to them, and I'm hoping that they become synonymous with Golden Gem Games. It's like, oh yeah, and you think of Golden Gem Games, you think of these guys. Of course, the first person you probably be thinking of is right up. Yeah, I'm trying to think of which way I'm supposed to point based on the camera. Right up there. There he is. That is Gemis. He's not really much of a character. He's kind of just like my avatar. He's just the face of Golden Gem Games. He's just the mascot of it. So yeah, meet Gemis, everybody. Hello. Um. But yeah, he, like I said, he's not really a character. Like, he's not really a part of the stories or plots. Like, he's not like supposed to be a like, there's not really like story on him. There's not like games based off of him. He's just kind of just the face of the company itself. Um, that doesn't mean he doesn't appear anywhere because I'm weird like that. I made a cameo of Gemis in my Jared Cart mod. He in the Golden Castle stage, there's a statue of him. Also in Jared Circuit, there's like a billboard of him. It's like on a sign. It's like a spinning sign, and one side has him. Also, where else? Oh yeah, also that kart racer. I mentioned it earlier, but like I said, I wasn't live before because I'm an idiot. Um, I'll be sure to, if I schedule these in the future, I need to remember that you have to hit go live because OBS isn't going to do it for you. Um, see a Gems. Yeah, in the kart racer, he's one of the 2 hidden characters. He's one of my 2 hidden characters. The other hidden character is Zato, who's another character I'm really excited to put into stuff because he's probably my favorite. I don't know. I have a really close bond with Zato, even though he doesn't exist. He's like my favorite OC. my like I conceived him back in 2015, like I said, but I've always been wanting to put him in something. He was in the Meet My New Faces video, and yeah, he was also in the Gex one, but like I said, those videos are cringe. But in my RPG, though, I'm going to try my best to make the writing good. I have to think about the writing a lot. I want to get some good characterization, build a story with them. The thing I really, really wanted to do back in school, though, was I wished that these characters I made were in some kind of animated series, like a cartoon or an anime or something like that. But, of course, I have no talent whatsoever when it comes to that kind of thing. I'm just a game designer. I don't know shit about making 2D animation. I don't know the first thing about it. So, I can't even do the simplest things that you think that I would do for animation. Like, I didn't even know how to make it so that my starting soon screen scrolls. Yeah. So that kind of just went down the drain. Went around right down the shitter. And I kind of just said, yeah, fuck that. Maybe one day in the future someone else might do it. But that's only assuming that I somehow become this big, grand face on the internet, which would be cool, but I don't know if I can do that. It might take me decades to do something like that. To actually become so big that someone would want to make a series based off something I did. I might be able to pull it off if it's like a weird, clunky, Blender 3D ass thing. I don't know. This one want to watch something like that. Anime series with fucking low grade Blender models. It'll be like those like 90s cartoons, like fucking Donkey Kong or like Reboot or some shit. Yeah, it'd be like that. Yeah, as soon as people show up, including my friends, I'm gonna have to explain to them. Yeah, look, guys, I'm great at streaming. I spent 40 minutes not even being live talking to no one. I'm still wondering if the full VOD will still have everything. If it doesn't, then this is gonna be really weird stream. Yeah, I came pretty unprepared. I saw like one tutorial, just one, about some tips on how to be communicative in your streams. It was sort of a just chatting thing, but it was also just sort of a general personality driven channel advice thing. And I never even seen a just chatting stream. I was just told by my friends that I would be good at it because I talk a lot. And I was like, oh, well, fine, I'll just do it. Even, like, despite the fact I've actually never seen one, I'm trying to do a stream of a genre that I haven't even watched the stream of that genre before. So I don't even really know how it works. I just heard you talk about shit, you get the chat engaged in some way, you just keep going, and like that's apparently just all it is. You just have people talk to you and you just react to it and you just go. Though some of these just chat streamers are crazy because they come up with all these wacky ideas. Like they have all these goofy buttons that they put in the chat, like all these commands you can put in and just make stupid shit happen. I'm just like, I don't know if I want to be that elaborate. Plus, I don't even know how to do any of that. I don't even have an alert widget on this damn thing. Not yet. I only recently figured out how to put a TTS in there. I remember trying countdowns. I stopped doing countdowns. I did countdowns for my Gex streams, and after that, I gave up on them because I don't know. I didn't really like it. I think starting soon is better because I never know exactly when I'm going to start. So setting a definitive time can be a little dumb because, like I said, I'm never exactly sure the exact minute I'm going to be on. So like, I usually don't try to keep my streams live for long before I start. Don't ask me why I decided to make one of mine live like 5 hours before I started for one of my Gex streams. I think I was a madman that day. What was wrong with me? um, but usually what I do is, if you saw my other streams, I just start like immediately. Like, I go live pretty much the instant I'm already ready to play it. But recently, though, this week specifically, I made a very crude starting soon screen because I use OBS and I don't have Streamlabs, so I don't have all those nifty backgrounds to pick from. I just made one. And that works better because all I gotta do is put it in there a few minutes before I'm ready, just to kind of inform people that it's live, you know. Just get a few people to show up, hopefully, so that by the time I do start, they're already there. But it's actually backfired before because one time I waited like 15 minutes and someone actually was there, but they left like 2 minutes later instead of just waiting. I'm just like, oh great, that's awesome. The guy just left me during the starting soon screen. Like, oh no. I think it's true what people say. The attention spans have been getting shorter with every generation. Because I'm pretty patient, I'll be honest. But it seems like a lot of people will literally see something for 2 minutes and just go, yeah, I'm done. Bye. I'm not trying to speak for everyone. I'm just saying, like, this is a general observation. It seems like people are getting bored more easily now. Getting bored very easily. And how busy is everyone? I would have at least expected one of my friends to go, oh, by the way, you weren't live when you said you would be. No one said anything. What is Goof and Zool doing today? Also, I guess Luis ain't gonna be here either. Didn't look like it. What am I saying now? What am I gonna be saying right now? Man, this is turning out to be a failure. There's even less activity than my gaming streams. This is a good start. I wonder if specifying a topic like what I was going to do with the future ones. On on the title, be like, oh, we're talking about this. That would probably get more people to watch it, maybe. But with a generic title like this, I guess no one cares. I just like to be honest with my stream names. I don't really try to go in for the clickbait. I tell you what you're getting, and that's what you're getting. Because I don't want to have to lie to anyone. I don't want to pull any punch. I don't want to, like, throw curveballs at you. No screwballs. Well, speaking of balls, I actually learned something weird about Wii Sports. I actually didn't know this. Because I saw a guy doing a video where he basically created an AI that beats everyone at baseball. I wish I knew this when I was younger, back in 2007, when we got our Wii. You can cheese the computers in baseball really easily when you're pitching. Literally, all you do is throw right-hand splitters over and over and over and over and over and over, and you just fuck them over. Sometimes the game even has a failsafe for this, because if you throw too many splitters, the game sometimes makes you throw a fastball instead. Which, yeah, that's not good, but apparently it doesn't happen frequently enough for it to matter. Because if you just keep doing it, the fastball error thing, that, like, the correction it does, I don't know, it's like an anti-cheat thing. It will happen sometimes, but not enough that they can get much off of it. Like, you might get really unlucky sometimes, and you might get a couple points off you, but overall, all the computers in the game will literally just not know what to do about it, because apparently what you're supposed to do is to do nothing to get a ball. Apparently the AI's logic for getting balls is random, and they don't really have logic to know, oh, this guy's going to spam the same throw 4 times so I can get 4 balls and walk. They don't know that. The AI does not know this. So it's very unlikely that they get a walk, because they will swing before they get 4 balls almost every single time. And the guy on the video explained it's pretty much impossible to score if you hit a right-hand splitter. If you throw a right-hand splitter, you just can't. You can't get it, because if you hit the ball, you will get either a foul or an out every single time without fail. You might be able to get a single off if you bunt it, but the AI doesn't know how to bunt. Or the computer, I mean. Yeah, the CPUs in the game do not understand how bunting works. So yeah, I didn't know that. You can just throw the same ball over and over, and it screws them over. Unfortunately, there isn't really a strat to win it batting. You just have to get good at it. Actually, it also reminds me, in Resort, in the sword fighting game, if you swing your remote in like a figure 8 sort of motion, it like completely confuses the AI's programming, and they don't know how to block you anymore, which is really weird. Like, what? Why does it do that? I feel like we need to data mine that shit. I can look into the code and be like, oh, that's why the AI doesn't know how to stop that. Because I'm really curious about kind of... I feel like it would be hard to figure out, because I imagine that programming the motion controls was probably a pain in the ass. And, like, to have this, like, directional recognition from your remote so the AI can react to it to block it is probably complicated. But they made a loophole somewhere there. Because you just go whoop, 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 and they don't know what to do. They don't know what to do. You just could beat the crap out of them. They just don't know what to do about it. They don't know. Yeah. Big gaming encyclopedia, boy. It helps that I watch a lot of YouTube. I like watching those like YouTubers that just like talk about facts and obscure shit in games. Like those channels that are just dedicated to finding stuff that people don't talk about. Like Larry Bundy, his series is great. Also, like What Happened. You ever seen What Happened? It's a good series by Matt McMuscles. He also has the worst fighting game, which is really funny to watch because it just shows you just how baffling fighting games can get sometimes. So they just make the most what the fuck decisions. Some of them are on the list just by proxy of them coming out before SF2 or around the time SF2 came out in the early 90s or earlier because, well, to be fair, no one knew what a fighting game was supposed to be yet. There wasn't a standard for anything back in those days, so those ones are kind of just bad by proxy. But there's a lot of them that came out after the revolution that still managed to be horse crap. Even ones in the 2000s that are horse crap. And you can see some bafflingly bad ones. Currently on the list, I think Pit Fighter's the worst one. And specifically the Super Nintendo port of Pit Fighter. It's horrible. 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 Not good. A lot of them on there are pretty bad, but there's some on there that are just mediocre and they get like on the top of the list, you know, like the low tiers. I mean, because the low in this list, low tier is a good thing because because the higher tier you go, the more shitty you are. It's so you know, it's weird to think. For anyone who has seen those videos, there's something that just makes you think about a lot of things. Like, um, DMC Design, you know, they made Lemmings back in the day. I never played it, but that's what they did. They tried to make some stuff on the N64, like Body Harvest, and the development story is just sad because Nintendo were just being dickholes, and although they were kind of trying to help them out in some ways, they were kind of trying to force the game to be in the vision they want instead of the vision DMC Design wants. And because of the way that this worked, it kind of created friction between the two, and they couldn't agree on anything. So, as it turns out, here's the fun part. DMC Design was like, yeah, no, fuck you, Nintendo, by the time their contract was over, which they did eventually make the games, but they didn't like it. They kind of had a bad taste for Nintendo because, like, they were kind of just getting in the way of what they wanted to do. And they weren't really being that helpful. Like, they didn't even want to give them proper N64 dev kits. So, like, they couldn't even rewrite the source code to make the game work. They couldn't do it. So, you're probably wondering, what happened to DMC Design? Well, here's the amazing part. DMC Design later became none other than Rockstar North. You know what they made, right? Fucking Grand Theft Auto, bitch. Well, 3 onwards. The first 2 were already made on PlayStation, so those don't count. GTA became what it is today thanks to Nintendo. And I just think that is crazy to me. Because there's an alternate universe out there where the development of Body Harvest went better, and they stuck with Nintendo, which if they did, then their series would have not been the way it was. It would have been a different series. They might not have even had GTA anymore. It might have been dead there in that universe. It might have just ended there. It's amazing what you learn when you look into the backstory of developments. So you're like, oh, great. Nintendo were assholes, so now GTA exists. Well, GTA 3 onwards anyway. There's actually a lot of times where something could have gone a lot better if just one thing didn't happen. Some guy made a dumb decision and it just caused everything to go the wrong way. Domino effect in its at its finest. The dominos, the dominos effect. What should I even? Maybe I'll make a poll later. Probably ask about the topic that could be chosen for next week. Because next week we will be covering something specific. It will be something gaming or anime related, very likely. Like some things I'm a huge Dragon Ball fucking geek. I know it's not the best anime out there, but I have nostalgia for it, and that kind of makes my opinion biased. And I've rewatched the show way too many goddamn times, so I can remember the smallest goddamn details. I learned a bunch of stuff from geekdom, so I'm just an encyclopedia of Dragon Ball. I've seen Naruto a lot. That's another one I like a lot. Although I hate Boruto. Fuck Boruto. It has a few good scenes sometimes. There's some memes in there. And I do like some of the characters, but the show just completely goes off the walls, and it ruins what made Naruto Naruto. Because the entire point of the show is that it's, ninjas. Um, but if you didn't know this, the writer Kishimoto wanted Madara to be the final boss, but he had to change it because the higher ups are saying, "Oh, we have this new plot idea for Boruto," and he's like, "You have to include this Kaguya character to branch it into the new storyline," and he hated that idea, but he had to do it. Hang on, Jesus! I'm coming over here, you dumb cat. Anyway, there's other animes I like too. Hunter is a good one. One Piece is amazing. Only thing is, it's kind of hard to really do a lot of discussions on that without spoiling things, because a lot of people haven't seen up to where I have, because it's really long. Because I've already reached the end of Wano. I'm basically where the dub is on. Yeah, that's where I'm at. And I tend to be more reluctant about making discussion videos about shows that aren't even finished yet. Like, usually I want them to already be done, so, like, people could have already seen them back then and they already know all the same stuff I do. Oh yeah, JoJo's also awesome. That one's technically incomplete too, but I feel like I could talk about that one because it's a lot shorter, for one. So it doesn't take super long to catch up. Well, then for gaming, I like a lot of different games. Not visual novels though. That's not my thing. I'm also not a point and click kind of guy either. Those are the kinds of things I don't really get into. But most other genres I can play. I will also admit I'm a little bit of a hmm. I'm not really hardcore at all when it comes to fighting games. I'm kind of like a casual. I kind of just dip my toes into it. There's so many crazy specific things everyone goes on about. I'm just like, I can't get too deep. It's such a try-hard community, dude. I can enjoy playing them, but there's no way I'm even touching the competitive scene of these kinds of games with a 20-foot pole. Though I will get Tenkaichi 4. I know it's called Sparking Zero, but everyone knows it's going to be called Tenkaichi 4 when it's localized. If it's not, then that'd be really weird. Because I'm, like I said, a Dragon Ball nerd. I like the games too. Games, I like a lot of franchises. I've always liked Sonic. Sonic is a series I like a lot. I could talk a lot about Sonic. Um, the only thing I will say is that just like what everyone else says, I kind of agree with the same thing everyone else is saying, and that is that the newer games are really iffy. Mania was great. Frontiers was bad. Superstars was pretty good. Frontiers is weird. It's kind of an odd Sonic game. Like, I get it was written by Ken Penders, you know, the guy who did the Archie comics, but it just such a weird transition when you put it into one of the games. Um, because it tries to not be the Archie version of Sonic, but also trying not to be too similar to regular Sonic. So it's like an odd in between. It's okay. It's okay. I don't think the gameplay is anything to write home about, but weird story. It gets oddly deep for a Sonic game. And I honestly, in my opinion, the kind of the whole point of a Sonic game is that it's not very deep. In fact, call me crazy, but I always thought Sonic was Sonic when the story and characters and cutscenes were all cheese, like cheesy and funny, like that campy B movie type plot. Like That is what I love about Sonic. It makes it so fun to watch the cutscenes because it's just so goofy. Some of these newer Sonic games are trying way too hard to be like serious and brooding. I'm just like, that is not Sonic. I know Adventure 2 did it a little bit, but like I felt like it was enough to add some tension, but it was done in a way that's hilarious. Because like it's like that kind of Shadow the Hedgehog kind of thing where it's like it tries so hard to be edgy that it's just funny instead. So I feel like SA2, although it's a little darker than a standard Sonic game, I feel like it wasn't that bad. It was it wasn't too much. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't too much. It was just enough. Shadow the Hedgehog, on the other hand, is a weird case study because that one because they knew Shadow was sort of emo to begin with. Like his whole fucking character was that he's like edgy Sonic. So they like took that all the way, and the story is legendary. like, it's horrible, but in a good way. You can't help but love how stupid it is. There's even some scenes that get surprisingly deep and dark that you wouldn't think of. Like, this is probably the first game that those kinds of things come from, because Modern Sonic does it a lot more. I think Shadow was probably where that all kind of began, where they just started talking dark. But it's like in such a goofy, edgy way. It's like bro, it's like, what is this, like freaking? It feels like I'm watching a 4Kids show. Everything is so doofy. Well, to be fair, it is the voice cast for that show. I think there's some parts that are legitimately really like depressing, and there's even some scenes where I almost question it doesn't really belong in a Sonic game. Though some people argue that it's not a Sonic game, it's a Shadow game, so they can do whatever they want. Fair enough. But there's like scenes where Shadow literally like talks about wanting to kill himself. Yeah. There's like scenes where he just wants to destroy the world or just end all existence. There's scenes where he literally tries to beat up Sonic just because he's better than him. He's like, I'm gonna prove I'm better, so I'm gonna cause all this destruction just as a proof of point. Although I think my favorite ending though is probably the true dark ending that because it's actually like really funny. So the antagonist Black Doom is like basically like bending you towards his will, which is the dark side. He's kind of like the Sith of the game, I guess. Like he wants you to be on his side. And if you go on all the other dark aligned paths, well, except for like neutral dark, but you kind of end up just becoming his minion at the end. So you're just like, oh, I'm going to help Black Doom rule the universe. But in the most purest evil ending, Shadow just does a heel turn on him at the last second. Literally like the last second. And goes, oh wait, I don't take orders from you. And then he just kills him. And he's like, yep, I'm going to commit omnicide on the universe. Fuck you. It's so edgy. But yeah, no, there's a lot of topics Sonic related I can go with. There's other games I like too. There's a lot of other series. I also like Mario a fair bit. Some Mario. I like Zelda. You can talk about Smash, I guess. So there's people who are more qualified to talk about that than me. I also like Crash. Not as much as Caddy likes Crash, but I like Crash. I think that guy has issues with Crash. Yeah, Crash is good games. Most of the time. There's that weird middle Dark Age era that he had, where they didn't know what to do with him. I know everyone's probably thinking right now. They're probably thinking of Boom Bang, and I don't blame you. That was horrendous. You thought Sonic Shuffle was bad. No, no, no. This game gonna show you that that game is a masterpiece in comparison. Sonic, Mario, Zelda. I'm mostly a Nintendo guy, but I've got picked up a few other things over the years. I like Gran Turismo a lot. I haven't really played anything past Sport, and I didn't touch 7 because everyone on the internet says that 7 is garbage, so I haven't even touched that. Uh, 6 and 5 look alright. 5 in particular, I might actually get at some point. But 3 and 4, those are the ones I've played the most. I played 2 a lot too, but I think 3 and 4. 2 is good too, but those two games, that might be peak. That might be peak GT right there. I don't think it's ever been better than those two. Though Sport was a good attempt, although it's a very different kind of game because it's supposed to be like the esports version. But it does have a full-fledged single-player mode like any other game. It's kind of stripped down comparatively, but it's there. Those racing games, yeah. Also, I'm one of those people who actually defends tag team racing. It's not a great game, but I don't think it's fair for people to trash it and just call it horrible and boring. I'm just like, yeah, there's some flaws with it, but it was an interesting idea. And also had the same composers that made Crash to Insanity's music, so you can't blame it. You can't knock that, can you? The only thing I will agree on, though, is that some of the tracks are a little bit too basic. Like, there isn't many hazards, so, like, a lot of them are just kind of, like, there's not much technicality on any track. The tracks are really easy most of the time. They sometimes just randomly throw a sharp turn. There's, like, no rhyme or reason. That's actually one thing I find really interesting, though, if you actually look at the music of Crash. Like, after the trilogy, they kind of just had, like, their own thing they went with every single game. And I can't think of that many games out there where every entry in the franchise tries to go for, like, a totally different genre. The only one I could think of off the top of my head is Persona, because they kind of went with, like, a sort of synth rock for the first two. And then 3 was, like, hip-hop. 4 was, like, what was it called? I forget what they called it. 5 is like jazz fusion. It's like they went with a different genre every game, which is cool. With Crash, they kind of just did that too, because Wrath of Cortex has this like trippy sci-fi kind of sound, and then Mind of a Mutant and Crash of the Titans, which actually share the same music style. I think it's literally the same sound font. They have their own weird, quirky kind of music. I don't even know how to describe the music of those games. It's just, it's something. It's something. And then there's Twinsanity and tag team racing where they literally do acapella. Yeah, they actually do acapella style music. And if you didn't know about that, you should look it up because it's actually really good. They actually got Spiral Mouth to do it, and Spiral Mouth is awesome. This cat again. Wait, there's actually 2 views? It's a shame none of them were in chat. I don't know who doesn't chat in a just chatting stream. I mean, isn't that what you do? Isn't that the point? You do these so that people in chat say things? Or am I just dumb because I've never seen one? I guess it's been about 2 hours. Well, despite there being no chat, probably partially my own fault because I said it would start at 3 by scheduling it at 3, and then people were probably seeing that there was nothing there, and then probably ignored it because I didn't start until 4 because I was streaming on OBS but not on YouTube. Ugh. I hope next week goes better. I hope next week goes better because I'll be picking a topic and people should be there this time. And I'll actually remember that if you schedule a stream, pressing stream on OBS is not enough. You have to do it on YouTube too. Because if you don't schedule a stream, you could just do OBS and it works. It just works automatically if you do that.